Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of KPW War Zone. It is I, Papi Styles, calling the action right down the middle, flying solo as always, and we are just 48 hours removed from ignition. We've seen a real paradigm shift in power since that very fateful night. We have a new #1 contender for the KPW World Heavyweight Championship. We are talking about none other than the Street Fighter himself, Popcorn Papi. And he'll be in our main event here tonight, going one-on-one against the Rhinestone Cowboy, the Sauce. But also, still to come, tag team action, as there has also been a major shift in power within that division. The First Nation, the Inkfluence, both teams will be working their way up the totem pole to see who will get a crack at the now 3-time KPW Tag Team Champions, the Boise Boys. And speaking of those damn Boise Boys, one half of the Boise Boys, one half of the newly crowned KPW Tag Team Champions, Hollywood Hannon, will be going one-on-one against one half of the now former KPW Tag Team Champions, representing the Bambus, Ricky Rhombus. Also still to come, our reigning and defending KPW Twitch champion, one of 2 champions that were successful on Saturday night in defending their gold, will be in non-title action here tonight as we grapple on Groundhog Day. Rey Ilusion goes one-on-one against the war hero, Sergeant Foxtrot. But also still to come here tonight, Hosway will be given a live microphone to explain his actions after that Four Corners contender at Ignition. We saw Parliament implode in front of our very eyes. Without any further ado, it appears that it is time to get down to ringside. Hosway ain't waiting any longer. He's not gonna hold his breath for any more than he needs to. Nobody was more impactful in that Four Corners bout on Saturday night than Hosway. Being responsible for 2 of the 3 eliminations in that match. Breaking free from the shackles of the Monarch, Oliver English. Even scoring an elimination over him, which caused a huge fallout between the two.
I don't deserve anything nice. That's the bet I made when I took that deal with those putas. I sold out everything that I cared about for cheap thrills. Time in and time out, I would be scolded and viewed as nothing more than a tool to that egomaniac. I did what I did because I wanted to make something of myself. I wanted to further my own career. And when I realized that I was willing to do damn near anything to achieve that, words couldn't describe just how empty that feeling is. Being surrounded by a group of misguided souls, hanging on to the word of a man that is nothing but the devil himself. I did everything I could to help steer that ship. I could take the abuse, the beatings time in and time out because I knew I would get right back up. And then you went after Tori. You wanted to bring her into the line of fire for your shortcomings. You couldn't stand the fact that you lost control of your own cult. I wasn't going to sit there and let you belittle me like you did for all those months, and at Ignition, I broke that cycle. I need you out here right now, Tori, because you knew just as well as I did that this was only borrowed time. It's time for you to break this cycle. It's time for you to set yourself free.
Hosway making and imploring to Tori to join him out here in front of the Kumite Forum. There's that old familiar chime. But where the hell is Tori? That's not Tori at all. That's the Monarch, Oliver English. That's certainly a reason of concern for Hosway. Hosway, dropping all pretenses. He's not even taking the time to have any sort of formality here. They're just getting right down to it. Looking to pick up where they left off on Saturday night. Oliver English looking to make an example out of Hosway. Make an example for anybody that tries to step out of line, out of his control here in Parliament. Imploring for Tori to try and break free. A Big Ben onto Hosway. And Oliver English, the hell does he have in mind here? He's got a baseball bat. He could be doing some serious damage with that. Hosway catches the bat though. And for the longest time, we've only heard from Parliament how Hosway was considered their secret weapon, like an ace in the hole. And we saw at Ignition, Hosway went rogue as a labor of love for Tori. He couldn't handle any of the abuse any longer. He sat through for months on end at the verbal abuse of Oliver English, and now his cronies have stormed into the ring here, hopping over the barricade. That's Papyrus, that's Kruger. It's safe to say what side they've chosen to take in this whole debacle. American Championship or not, it appears that Papyrus and Kruger, they are especially loyal to the Monarch as they're picking up the scraps for their dearest leader. Hosway was holding his own one-on-one against the Monarch, but I don't think he's gonna have good odds now that it's 3-on-1. Oliver English just sulking in the corner, taking it all in. He's looking to make Hosway rue the day that he decided to break free from Parliament and break away from the greater vision. And Hosway, he's still trying to fight back. He's trying to do everything in his power to fight back. But the odds, they are just so overwhelming. The odds, this is still 700 pounds worth of man that he's going up against outside the ring here. Hosway pulling Papyrus in front of him. But Kruger had a second super kick loaded. This is a mugging here, courtesy of Parliament. A parting gift from the Monarch, if we've ever seen one. And Chaos Control, Papyrus, Kruger, they are not letting up for a moment here tonight. And now Oliver English joins them up atop the ramp here. Steel chair to accompany him. What an absolute coward. What a despicable man. You already have the 3v1 advantage. Hosway is completely helpless out here. He is a lone wolf out here. And he's being torn to shreds for the whole wrestling world to see. 3 men in a steel chair. And that's still not enough of an advantage for Oliver English. That's still not enough. Papyrus, Kruger, they're holding back event staff and security from trying to break these two up. Trying to intervene for the well-being of Hosway. And Hosway, he's still fighting back. Trying to disarm the monarch of that steel chair for just one moment. And Oliver English
Knockout.
just cracked Hosway wide open with that steel chair. Shades of what we saw in Ignition. Hosway dropping Oliver English on the chair with that patented angel dust. And now Oliver English using his manpower, using his reserves, and Tori coming through the curtain here. She doesn't approve of this one damn bit. She's got a reason to be concerned. She looks as conflicted as ever here. Hosway was the only person that ever tried to look out for her in Parliament. But she knew exactly what she wanted to sign up for. And I don't think she's ever been pushed to a point of contention quite like this. But coming up next, singles action as the KPW Twitch champion, Rey Ilusion, goes one-on-one against the war hero, Sergeant Foxtrot, in singles exhibition. What a start to Warzone here tonight. Tensions have clearly not been resolved. But if anybody has a moment of relief in that KPW locker room, it's certainly the Twitch champion, Rey Ilusion. He fought hard against the role model tape last Saturday night at Ignition. He successfully retained that Twitch championship. His leg was starting to give out on him towards the end of that bout, and he was able to squeak away with the championship thanks to a small package. Sergeant Foxtrot making his way down the aisle. We're gonna have an impressive showing here tonight. As we all know, the American Championship changed hands at Ignition. Solo, representing Bunker Hill, now holds the gold. He is hold it away from the hands of Parliament, from that 400-pound monster of Manchester that we saw just moments ago. And while Sergeant Foxtrot is not eligible to challenge for the Twitch Championship, a divisional belt, a strong enough showing, or even a victory over the Twitch champion, that could be more than enough to put him in the runnings for the American Championship chase for our next monthly special event, Destiny, February 28th, 9/8 Central on the Team Adhesive Broadcasting Network. Speaking of favoring the legs from before, pump handle follow-away slam from Rey Ilusion. What a feat of strength from the Twitch champion. I was gonna throw it back to how Rey Ilusion was favoring that leg from Ignition, much like Pierre Cinema was favoring his leg walking out of the Kumite Forum after that brutal submission match. Couldn't even walk out on his own 2 feet. But rain or shine, whether the Twitch champion is at 100% or not, he's putting up one hell of a fight here tonight. And we've seen a lot of personal growth for Rey Ilusion. He has been able, more than capable, of stepping up, rising up to the challenge.
1, 2.
We've seen time in and time out the still undefeated Twitch champion is not above incorporating that aerial offense. We've seen him attempt it before, largely unsuccessful. Whether he wasn't able to go for it at an appropriate point in the match, whether or not he was a bit hesitant to make that crucial decision to pull the trigger. But I don't think he's gonna be doubting that trigger finger here tonight. He doesn't have a choice. He still has to go up against the War Sarge here. He has to go up against an American hero in Sergeant Foxtrot. The physical acumen of Foxtrot, his prowess, his submission skills make him extremely formidable going into this bout. He could zero in on those bad legs of Ilusion from last Saturday night. And I think that would explain the desperation on display from the Twitch champion. Abdominal stretch, falling into a pinfall here. And you just never know what tricks the Twitch champion is gonna have up his sleeve. It's what makes these encounters so exciting. Whenever you see a Rey Ilusion match called up for another edition of KPW, another KPW event with the Twitch champion here. Big clothesline onto Foxtrot, another 2 count. As Foxtrot stays alive. Big back body drop. Foxtrot looking to go for the triangle choke. Is the Twitch champion going to reach the ropes? And I believe the bad foot was able to reach the ropes. Who knows how much tension Rey Ilusion is feeling in the ligaments of that leg. How much further he could put his body under stress here. Big headbutt, lateral press, another kick out from the Sarge. Sergeant Foxtrot, wrist lock, drilling down the elbow right into the shoulder blade of Rey Ilusion. Trying to lock up those arms, trying to neutralize that TKO. Ilusion with a low blow. Is he really gonna go for a headbutt here? Oh, that's that hesitation coming into play once again. He had a golden opportunity to strike, to put this match to bed, to put Sergeant Foxtrot away, and said I'm packing here tonight. And this is exactly the kind of thing that Tate was using Saturday night to take full advantage of the Twitch champion. And Rey Ilusion is starting to adopt a more aggressive style here tonight. He needs to get his head in the game here. He needs to take the Sarge a little bit more seriously.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Ilusion going for a breather outside the ring. Foxtrot ascending to the top rope here.
9.
Thinking better of a trying to get inside the head of the Twitch champion.
12.
And Foxtrot, he's a fearless man. He has seen the horrors of what society can bring. The unseen horrors that most civilians wouldn't be able to experience. He's made a lot of sacrifices in his life, and he's looking to make even more here as part of KPW. Crossbow lock from the Sarge. Breaking off the hole before Ilusion can get the rope break in effect. A bold strategy, a daring tactic from the Warrior Hero. Another vicious clothesline, sending Foxtrot inside out. Big drop kick from the Sarge. And another low blow from the Twitch champion. Inside cradle, that's how he put away tape. And Foxtrot breaks free. Ilusion thinking a double underhook suplex. Foxtrot powers out of it, and he looks to go back for the triangle lock. And yet another low blow from Rey Ilusion. This is as aggressive as we've ever seen the Twitch champion here in KPW. This is as dirty as we've ever seen him get once that bell rings. But he's putting up one hell of a fight here against Sergeant Foxtrot. Foxtrot has been able to make the difference and neutralize the champion whenever the opportunity presents itself. This has been one hell of a stalemate here. Small package attempted by Foxtrot now. What a counter. They're both back on their feet. Irish Whip looking to meet in the middle here. Monkey flip onto Rey Ilusion. A waistlock transition going into a collar and elbow. Irish Whip reversal now. Pace is starting to pick up. The action is starting to heat up between these two. They cannot go that much longer here, folks. They're looking to put this away as quickly as they can. Big power slam by Ilusion. And is he going to hesitate this time? He gets a headbutt. Personal strides are being achieved for the champion. Sergeant Foxtrot constantly pushing Rey Ilusion to his limits, pushing him as far as his body can allow him. Irish Whip into the corner. Big forearm strike. Foxtrot running into it. Is his legs gonna be strong enough to do it? TKO! The champion pulls through here tonight. What a strong showing from both of these men. We had no idea if Rey Ilusion was going to be at 100%, especially those legs of his after ignition. That grueling Twitch championship bout took a lot out of him. And Sergeant Foxtrot gave everything he could. He took that much more away from the Twitch champion. But he carried through, and what the hell is this? The lights have gone out. The lights have gone out in the Kumite Forum. I can't see a damn thing here. Oh my God! It's Sting! We know Ding has been on the hunt. He's been on a quest for revenge. Foxtrot making the first move here. He's worried about Ding's motivations here. He doesn't know why the hell he's showing up now. But this has been a common reoccurring theme. Sergeant Foxtrot making the mistake of putting his hands on the dinger first. And he's about to get drilled with a scorpion ding drop. And Foxtrot, he's getting right back to his own 2 feet. He wants more. A low blow set up for yet another scorpion ding drop. Rey Ilusion, he can't believe what the hell he's seeing, and neither can I. Sergeant Foxtrot's back on his feet. There is no quit in this man's heart. He's rough, he's rugged, he's as mean as they come here in KPW. But so is Ding. He's a former world champion, and he's still on the hunt.
Knockout.
Rey Ilusion with a very particular glimmer in his eyes, trying to keep his distance from Ding. This has been Ding's MO since Collision Course. Rey Ilusion, Ding making their presences felt for the first time, and subsequently once again since that fateful night. Ilusion trying to keep his distance. He almost looks fearful. Ding is still on the hunt. He is still looking for his man. He is still looking for vengeance. And wherever that man may be, they're almost certainly looking with a keen eye after Ding just laid waste to the Sarge here tonight. But we still have more action to come here tonight, folks. Plenty of action in the tag team championship scene. A return bout in conjunction of our previous monthly special event, Ignition, which is live on demand. Where this man teamed up with Bam Dardino as part of the Bam Bus. Their first ever tag team championship defense. They're of course no longer the tag team champions. They fought hard, they fought diligently. But these men, they had a whole hell of a lot to prove here. This man in particular, his star shone the brightest out of the four. A now 3-time KPW Tag Team Champion, the 6'6", 320-pound Hollywood Hannon. Looks to finish what he started against the Bam Bus. And Ricky Rhombus off to a hot start, accompanied down to the ring by Asa. Bam Dardino waiting in the back here. Been a while since we've seen the business associate, the personal valet and concierge of the Bam Bus. Big enziguri from Ricky Rhombus to Hollywood Hannon. These two men, they're looking to lay it all on the line here. Hollywood Hannon looking to prove that this victory wasn't just a fluke. They didn't just catch the bam bus on a bad night. And we know that the kind of men that the bam bus are, Ricky Rhombus, Bam Dardino, they fought long and hard to get this far in the tag team division. They certainly had a lot weighing on their mind the past several weeks, especially involving their former mentor, Dynamite Danny Axel, being jumped back-to-back weeks by the King of Stego style, Corey Sinclair. Who knows what his whereabouts are at? But what we do know is that Corey Sinclair is not, I repeat, not the KPW World Heavyweight Champion. Most prestigious prize in all of wrestling, still around the waist of the Siberian Silver Bear, Pando. Big boot from Ricky Rhombus. At one time, him and Bam Dardino, they were peers of Pando. And these three men, they have all been quite the tour de force here in KPW for one reason or another. Way to put away early, Fisherman Buster. And Hollywood Hannon gets up at 2. At one point, Ricky Rhombus called himself the shape of the future. He was an omen for what was to come here in KPW over the past year or so. There's certainly no doubting of his abilities any longer. He's proven himself to be quite a formidable foe once that bell rings. His partnership with Bam Dardino has made them one of the most prominent tag teams in all of KPW. But they still have a long way to go. They are not quite as seasoned of a veteran as Hollywood Hannon, not as seasoned of a vet as David Rush. That's why the Boise Boys are the now 3-time KPW Tag Team Champions. It's created one hell of an opening in the tag team division. Everybody's looking to get the first crack at the Boise Boys at Destiny. Two of those teams, including the First Nation, Slarty, Shuko, and of course the Inkfluence, Big Bernard, Headband, Tommy Tanks. They'll be in action coming up next. Irish whip by Hollywood Hannon. Big shoulder block, but Ricky Rhombus stays on a vertical base thanks to the top ropes, hanging on for his dear life. Big vertical suplex from the 300-pounder. Ricky Rhombus trying to create some distance, trying to create whatever space he can. Irish whip reversal from the big man, playing right into that reach advantage of Hollywood Hannon. A big Samoan drop from the big man. Running kitchen sink right to the guts of one half of the tag team champions, Hollywood Hannon. German suplex, and what a bridge from Ricky Rhombus. We are 97 weeks deep in the War Zone, and on February 23rd, we'll be reaching that big milestone, War Zone 100, a big milestone episode to come in 3 weeks' time. And one of the most loaded weeks in KPW history, War Zone 100 on the 23rd. Destiny, our next monthly special event, on the 28th. Another major pit stop before we get to our biggest show of the year. Spring Stampede on March 28th. Everybody's vying for a chance to be on the grandest stage of them all, including these two men, Ricky Rhombus, Hollywood Hannon. These two men, they have certainly seen their fair share of turbulence on their way to the Stampede, on their way to the big War Zone 100. But here they are now. Some of the most respected men in the tag team division. We're gonna make the most out of their opportunities here tonight, much like they would any other night. Hollywood Hannon loosening up the wrists. He got a better grip on Ricky Rhombus. And you definitely don't want to be on the receiving end of any sort of raw power that Hollywood Hannon could dish out. Ricky Rhombus trying to go for a neck breaker. Hollywood Hannon catches it, goes for a pump handle drop, planting Ricky Rhombus into the mat. Big power slam from Hollywood Hannon, drilling down the elbow like a stake into the heart of Ricky Rhombus. We're gonna go for another pump handle drop with authority this time. Ricky Rhombus, he still wants to fight back. He still has a lot of fight in him. He's looking to even the odds here. After losing the tag team championships at Ignition. Another back body drop from Ricky Rhombus. And Ricky Rhombus taking in the roar of the crowd. Strutting his stuff. Raining down a flurry of fists onto Hollywood Hannon. Big drop kick sending Hollywood Hannon through the ropes. Hollywood Hannon re-entering the ring by climbing over the top rope. Fisherman's Buster attempted once again, but saved by the ropes is Hollywood Hannon. And we have plenty more action to come next week on Warzone, especially in conjunction with the BAM Bus. As I'm receiving word from the KPW Board of Directors, coming up next week, singles action as the other half, Bam Dardino, will be going one-on-one against the Monarch of Parliament, Oliver English. Also still to come, an opening in the Twitch championship scene has emerged. One of 4 men to be getting a Twitch championship match at Destiny between Tape, Kabuki, Bob, and Opulence. A mini tournament of sorts. Fisherman's Buster from Ricky Rhombus. And he has snuck away with the win here tonight. All it takes is one moment to lower your guard. And just like that, Ricky Rhombus has moved in for the kill. We were talking all about turbulence. How it isn't just a smooth flight throughout a whole year of KPW, a whole season's worth of KPW. Both of these teams fought hard to get to the top of the tag team division. And this just goes to remind the world there are no breaks. Even when you're at the top, there is no time to recoup. You are now in a position of vulnerability. You are no longer the hunter. And Hannon was hunted down here tonight by Ricky Rhombus. Congratulations to Ricky Rhombus on one hell of a victory here tonight. But coming up next, tag team action. Two of KPW's more prominent tag teams, two tag teams that have shared that experience, that joy of being former tag team champions. They look to make a strong impression here tonight as the First Nation, Shuko, Slarty, they take on Headband Tommy Tanks and Big Bernard, otherwise known as the Inkfluence, here tonight. Slarty, Shuko, one of the meanest teams that we've ever seen, one of the most ruthless pairings that we've ever seen in KPW history. They have a well-known strategy of dividing and conquering. It's gonna be hard to isolate Big Bernard and Headband Tommy Tanks from one another. The Inkfluence, they're here, they're ready to rock and roll, they're here to strut and stroll. They're here for the thrill of the fight. And they know if they can beat the First Nation here tonight, it would certainly set them up. It would set them on a pathway towards the Boise Boys, our reigning, defending, three-time KPW Tag Team Champions. Shuko electing to start this match off for the First Nation. Headband Tommy Tanks going to kick things off for the Inkfluence. Stump pole pile driver from Headband Tommy Tanks. Shuko, he is one of the tried and true journeyman here of KPW, a true mastermind when it comes to the ring. Technical wizardry has been the phrase that has been thrown around when you talk about the abilities of the mastermind. Stick with Shuko. He certainly carried his weight here in KPW as a tag team champion, but he is also a former KPW hardcore champion. Both Shuko and Slarty, who is now the legal man in this bout, as well as Big Bernard, a true hoss fight emerging in the middle of the ring now. Slarty has very stealthily been one of the most successful men in KPW history, a former tag team champion, a former hardcore champion, a multiple-time Twitch champion, and he's come dangerously close to capturing the KPW World Heavyweight Championship in times immemorial. But he is up against the 300-pound woolly mammoth, Big Bernard. And a test that he's going to bring here tonight, it's quite different compared to most tests that Slarty has ever been pushed through. Big boot by Slarty, but Big Bernard's right back on his feet. Something's gonna give between these two men. Somebody's gonna have to budge. Big Bernard clearing Slarty out of the ring here. Shuko being left wide open at the mercy of the Inkfluence. Tandem offense from the First Nation, but Big Bernard's fighting like hell to break free, and he gets the tag to headband Tommy Tanks. A much needed moment of relief. Something to take his mind off. This headband Tommy Tanks tries to go to work. Slarty countering him in the corner with a slingshot into the turnbuckle. Slarty clears the ring yet again. Look at those mean strikes from the War Machine, Slarty. Those quick jabs, those hard right hooks. You want to talk about striking ability, you will find very few men in KPW that could fight as strong and as hard as Slarty. Slarty bringing in that signature barbed wire 2x4. Tommy Tanks and the weapon off of him here. Shuko tags in. Fallaway slam. Combination offense from the First Nation. And ladies and gentlemen, TV time allotted. Each of these bouts has a 30-minute time limit. These two teams, these four men, they could very well go the distance here tonight. And think of the opportunity that would provide the band bus. If these four men end up going to a time limit draw, that could completely pull them out of the championship chase here. As our next monthly special event, Destiny, February 28th. Still a whole month away. Shuko trying to target the head of Big Bernard with those knee strikes. Big Bernard catches the foot of Shuko. Big back body drop. Big Bernard has Shuko right where he wants him. And Hatton drop from Big Bernard. I thought he thought he had us all psyched out here. I think he's trying to outmaneuver the mastermind here, trying to outwit him here. Big sidewalk slam. Cover. And Shuko, he's still relatively fresh in this bout, quite possibly the freshest of the four. He still breaks the count at 1. Shuko sneaks in the tag to Slarty. Shuko gets in that quick heel kick to the gut of Big Bernard, and Slarty gets one hell of an opening to capitalize here. But Big Bernard, he is moving as fast as we've ever seen him move before, trying to make those opportunities as few and as far between as possible. Big uppercut from Slarty. Fallaway slam. A big thrust to the throat of the War Machine. Headband Tommy Tanks, the lighter of the two men, entering this bout here. And Tommy Tanks, he's built up quite the reputation here in KPW as an underdog, being able to go the distance in situations where he was least expected to. He's gone the distance against former world champions and taken things to a time limit draw. If anybody in this bout has the miles per gallon, it's certainly headband Tommy Tanks. Swinging neck breaker, Slarty's head coming into contact with the 2x4. Fortunately for him, he didn't come into contact with the barbed wire end of it. But he's still favoring the back of his head. A good play by the War Machine. Slarty electing to tag out to Sigma Shuko, the mastermind of the First Nation. Strategist of the group, the brains rather than the brawn. And Slarty certainly picked up a few things under the tutelage of Sigma Shuko. Big Bernard gets in. And the balance is all lopsided here. Big Bernard with that barbed wire 2x4, blocking Shuko over the head with it. As we know here, ladies and gentlemen, there are 20 counts outside the ring. Weapons are not grounds for disqualification. The only way you could be disqualified is by a time limit draw, a 20 count outside of the ring, or by outside interference. The vast majority of these athletes here in KPW, these warriors, they fight under a code of chivalry, a code of honor. Slarty picking up another barbed wire 2x4. Are they selling these at the merchandise stands? How the hell did this get past security so easily? Big Bernard with the 2x4. Slarty catching him while he had the opening. Goes for a stun gun, but Slarty left himself open. A heavy strike to his barn fasts. Running Bulldog onto the barbed wire 2x4. Mountain bomb onto the 2x4. Shuko, Slarty, they're in their element here tonight. And we know they're going to want to keep their reps up. They're going to want to keep their dominance, their vice grip on KPW high and mighty. And I'm receiving word that the First Nation will be in tag team action once again next week on War Zone. However, their opponents have yet to be determined. What's still to come, we have a main event here. The #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. The Street Fighter Popcorn Papi. He still has an old foe to butt heads against. The Rhinestone Cowboy, the Sauce, in our main event of the evening. Waistlock tie up. Another sidewalk slam from Big Bernard, moving a bit more hastily with that sidewalk slam. Double underhook suplex. Loosening up the wrists once more. I think he took too much time to collect himself. Shuko, he's dangerously close to his tag team partner. He makes the tag. Slarty's had all the time in the world to freshen up here. Double-handed choke. He can't intervene to save his partner. But Headband Tommy Tanks running quite the diversion here for his tag team partner. Referee Slapthigh Jones, he's struggling to keep control of this bout. And now everybody's outside of the ring. This can get real ugly real quick here, folks. Big Bernard and Slarty, the two big men, taking the fight to one another.
7, 8.
Shuko, Headband Tommy Tanks duking it out a little bit further down the guardrail.
11.
Tandem offense from the First Nation.
13.
Count of 13. And Big Bernard goes low in an act of desperation.
16. 17.
Camel clutch on the floor.
18.
Slarty's in rough shape here. Is he going to beat the count? And he makes it. But what kind of shape is he going to be in? Slarty clears the ring. Big Bernard, he's got a head full of steam. He's looking to let loose here tonight. Bicycle kick sending Slarty tumbling over the top rope and down to the floor.
3.
Once again, the Inkfluence have isolated the First Nation from one another. These two, Slarty, Shuko, they need to isolate the proverbial and part that Red Sea called the Inkfluence here tonight just to get back towards one another here. Shuko tagging in. Big Bernard pulls Slarty in front of him. A line of miscommunication for sure. As Slarty eats that missile drop kick from his own partner. Shuko's fighting like hell. He can't wait to get his hands on either one of them. He is incensed. He is outraged. He's frustrated that he even got put into a situation where he'd have to lay his hands on Slarty.
1.
He's looking to take it out on the Inkfluence on a personal level here. Headband Tommy Tanks trying to do whatever he can. Big Bernard trying to restrain Shuko however he can. And he finally gets the suplex in. Shuko with a drop kick to the knees of Headband Tommy Tanks. Double underhook back breaker from the mastermind. He's not looking to get fooled again here tonight. He's not looking to draw Slarty into any potential line of fire. Headband Tommy Tanks knows how desperate this situation is. He needs to stay within his own comfort zone. He needs to play it in the pocket. He's going purely into defense here. And he's living up to that old saying, never interrupt your opponent while he's making a mistake. Slarty almost perched up at the top rope there, fighting his way free and descending down from the second rope. Just to try and inflict some serious damage on Headband Tommy Tanks. But he hasn't been able to get a whole lot of offense in Double suplex onto Shuko. And this ring is starting to fill up with barbed wire 2x4s. How the hell is there such a plentiful supply of this stuff? Are we selling this to children? What kind of lawsuit are we looking at? Shuko tags in. Bernard tags in. This bout has been escalating very steadily, crisscross between the two respective teams. Irish whip. Big flapjack from Shuko, using all the momentum of that 300-pound runaway train. And now it's Big Bernard with the barbed wire 2x4. Even for just a moment, trying to find whatever advantage he can. He knows that on a technical scale, when it comes to the wrestling acumen, he is not going to outpace, he's not going to out-wrestle Shuko, but he can surely brutalize and beat the hell out of him. He still has a size advantage over Shuko. About 70 pounds worth. Irish whip. Shuko, go for a schoolboy there. Rope break.
One, two.
Flagger bomb from Headband Tommy Tanks. Any opportunity that the First Nations had to isolate one of these members, they haven't had a whole lot of time to make the most out of it. Shuko still feeling a little bit rattled from that pile driver. We're gonna reach for the tag to Slarty, and Slarty is in. This has been an absolute barn burner here tonight, folks. The First Nation, the Inkfluence, still raging on. Irish whip. Slarty goes for the big boot anyway, and he gets all of it. Pendulum backbreaker to follow it up. Big Bernard trying to return the favor with a power slam. As I'm receiving word from the KPW Board of Directors, once again, another announcement to make here tonight, folks. Next week on War Zone, Jim Ross will be joined in the KPW Hall of Fame by yet another inductee as part of our class of 2026. We here at KPW would like to give our thanks and our appreciation to those that have sacrificed themselves to this business. Whether you were eating in the ring, whether you were calling from behind a desk, every bit of contribution has mattered, and that is exactly why we have been able to run this for 97 weeks and counting. In 3 weeks' time, we will be having another major milestone here, as we will be commemorating the 100th episode of Warzone in just 3 weeks' time. On February 23rd, almost 2 full years of our flagship weekly episodic show, War Zone. Shuko killing two birds with one stone with that 2x4 throw. Good God. A little bit of Full Metal Jacket action with that 2x4. Headband Tommy Tanks, his bell is absolutely rung from that.
1, 2,
Cover!
count 2.
And he's still kicked out. This is absolutely insane here, folks. I've never seen anything like it. Shuko tagging out to Slarty. Tandem offense for the First Nation. Assisted power bomb. And if you thought Headband Tommy Tanks' head was ringing hard from that 2x4 strike, I can't imagine what he's thinking right now. He's got to be in some sort of autopilot from all this. Tag made to Big Bernard. And the Hosses are looking to get their hands on one another once again. Irish whip into the corner goes Slarty. Big Bernard looking to follow it up here, trying to cage in Slarty. Quick knee to the gut, a swinging neck breaker from Slarty. Snapmare, but Big Bernard gets right back up and tries to create some distance away from Slarty. Big stun gun. Headband trying to intervene for his partner. And a big headbutt from Big Bernard. One strike to a head up top and another strike to a head down below.
1, 2, 3.
Headband Tommy Tanks, however, running some reconnaissance
1,
for his larger half.
3,
Both these teams on opposing sides of the ring here. Slarty and Big Bernard, the two legal men, by the way.
7, 8, 9.
Big Bernard breaks the back of the War Machine. Slarty, Shuko, and Headband Tommy Tanks
30.
fighting up and down the guardrails here, right besides the announce desk here. Count of 15. And the two men that need to be within the confines of the ring are back in the ring. But not for long. Slarty with that palm strike pushes Bernard over the top and down to the floor.
4,
What an unfortunate way to lose your balance there. That was quite a nasty tumble for the 300-pound woolly mammoth. This has certainly been one of the hardest hitting tag team matches we've ever seen on Warzone. Slarty, Shuko, with everything to gain here, with everything to prove. They're looking to stay as motivated as ever before. Lateral press. Big Bernard outside the ring. And thankfully for him, Headband Tommy Tank still has enough of his wherewithal to stay alive for the match. Another stun gun from Slarty. Shuko gets the tag. Waist lock attempted by Headband Tommy Tanks, but all it did was fire up Shuko even further. Side suplex. Shuko. He's ready to put this to bed here. He's looking to put the Inkfluence to rest here. Double power bomb. Followed up with a reverse suplex. Dragging Headband towards the center of the ring here. Slarty making the quick intervention. And the First Nation have emerged victorious here. My God, what a match. If this is what the competition is going to look like for the Boise boys, they might be in for some serious trouble. The Band Boss is still able to get their number. They weren't able to completely secure their dominance at Ignition on Saturday night. And the First Nation, they went through an absolute tear here tonight. They were quite isolated for the vast majority of that bout, but once the closing minutes really set in, Slarty, Shuko, they were able to adapt on the fly here. They were able to isolate Headband Tommy Tanks, and once Big Bernard tagged out, that was really the beginning of the end. You look in the top left corner of the screen there, Slarty immediately putting a stop to Big Bernard's attempt to break the pin with that running kitchen sink. Congratulations to the First Nation on a strong showing here tonight on War Zone. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up next, our main event of the evening, as two old rivals butt heads in the center of the ring once again. The Rhinestone Cowboy, the Sauce, looks to make some serious strides, looks to earn some serious opportunities in the near future. But first, he has to get through the Street Fighter himself, the leader of Bunker Hill, and the #1 contender to the KPW World Heavyweight Championship, Popcorn Papi. Main event is underway here, folks. The last time we saw these two go up against one another in singles action, it was almost a full calendar year ago, and it was in a grueling barbed wire brawl. The Sauce is undefeated against Popcorn Papi, even with a major high stakes heavyweight championship bout ahead of him at Destiny. The Sauce is still right there, right behind him, looking to bring him back down to size. Sauce Look at like $1 million here tonight. His former tag team partner representing the Connection, Jim Ross, the first ever KPW Hall of Famer. He will be joined in that 2026 class next week. And the Sauce, he is trying to build his reputation along far enough and strong enough to have a Hall of Fame worthy career of his own. These two men, they have been here from day one. They have represented KPW from the very first shows. The Sauce, he's in perfectly good shape. The Popcorn Papi, he was a bloody mess when when the tension, the dust was settled after that Four Corners contender on Saturday night. He survived Nick Flawless. He survived what seemingly was the implosion of Parliament. But it seems like Parliament is still somewhat intact, as Oliver English still has control over Papyrus and Kruger. Corey caught in the middle. Hosway made an example out of for breaking free and taking none of the abuse anymore. One of the critical moments that people point out, and that complete dissolution was a way that Hosway assisted Popcorn Papi with that pile driver, the one that eliminated Oliver English from World Championship contention. And then Hosway took the full credit for it. He went for the pin himself. Irish whip, drop down, big forearm strike. Popcorn Papi, he's one hell of a brawler here, and he's looking to throw down with the Sauce. Sauce doing everything he can to slow down, to try and soften up those arms of Popcorn Papi. And when you see Popcorn Papi here, this is not by any means a scientific bout. This is not by any means going to be a technical classic. But what Popcorn Papi has, he has plenty of heart, he has plenty of soul, he has all the determination in the world. And he is using everything in his power and his wherewithal to defeat the Sauce here tonight. Popcorn Papi is 0 for 3 against the Sauce. If he is not careful, he could very well be 0 and 4 against the Sauce. Popcorn Papi has been successful enough here in KPW to become a 3-time Twitch champion, the inaugural hardcore champion. He's been instrumental in the destruction, the self-destruction of Parliament, something that nobody really would have expected. For him to be so intimately involved and those blueprints all coming down in a matter of minutes. But the Sauce, he has quite the resume himself. He is a former 2-time KPW Twitch champion. It took our current Twitch champion, Rey Ilusion, who is still undefeated, by the way, to put the Sauce away long enough to take the belt off of him. Big drop kick from Popcorn Papi. He's trying to build up whatever momentum he can. Sauce, he has the size just like Popcorn Papi. He has raw strength. He's not afraid of a good fist fight if he needs to take it that far. Both of these men are equally matched and equally resourceful, but only one of them will emerge victorious here tonight. Big double axe to the back of Popcorn Papi from the top. The Sauce, look how he's slowing down Popcorn Papi. Look at how he's targeting the legs of the Street Fighter himself, Popcorn Papi. Forearm strike denied by the Sauce, transitioned into a Fujiwara armbar. But Popcorn Papi, he's not afraid of slowing the pace down himself if he needs to get the job done. We were able to speak with Bunker Hill privately earlier today before War Zone went live. We talked to Popo, we talked to Solo, who is now the KPW American Champion. We've talked to K-Dog and we've talked to Popcorn Papi, and they are more than elated with the opportunity that has been presented in front of them. With all the leverage they have in the world now. Death Valley driver from Popcorn Papi pulling off all the stops. Popcorn Papi, he's been in high pressure situations before, but it's never been to this degree. All eyes are on him. The whole world is watching. He fought hard for months to make his dreams come true, and he still has to fight a little bit longer. But one by one, he's been putting his demons to rest. And he might be able to do it again here tonight. Pump handle slam. Cover.
1, 2, 3.
And Popcorn Papi has broken the curse. The Sauce had that dangling over him. In history here in KPW, 0-3 is all he would ever be reminded of for quite some time. But every time the Sauce would make strides against Popcorn Papi, Popcorn Papi would find a way to squeak his way up and out ahead of the Sauce. And tonight is no different. Popcorn Papi has lifted an albatross off of his shoulders. And that is all the time that we have here tonight for yet another episode of KPW War Zone. Popcorn Papi's got a date with Destiny, February 28th, where he'll be taking on Pando for the KPW World Heavyweight Championship. And I have been Tapey Styles, the only man that could call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. And we will be back here next Monday night, as we now know from the board directors that the First Nation will get a main event match.
Whoever is running that production
What the hell is this?
Don't sign off just yet. And this time around, you hit my real music. I got some shit to say. Come on, follow me. We're doing this. The whole world deserves to hear this one.
Danny Axel, Dynamite Danny Axel, getting his hands on a cameraman backstage here, asking for his real music. This has got to be huge here. Don't adjust that set here, folks. This has to be some important announcement from Dynamite Danny Axel. He's been in all the headlines for the past several weeks. What could this possibly be all about? The whole world.
The past few weeks haven't
waiting.
exactly been up to snuff for Dynamite Danny Axel. I get my ass kicked in a bar, and then I acted on my impulses and got my ass kicked again in the ring last week. I've taken a lot of pride in everything I've done to contribute to this business. The Bambus, Pando, those are some serious prospects that once sat underneath my learning tree. And I couldn't be any prouder of them for what they've achieved. Especially the world champ. I wish he saved it for Ignition just a tiny bit though. But he took the fight right to that punk, and he got exactly what he deserved. I hope you enjoyed that taste of instant karma because you had it coming.
Corey Sinclair practically being summoned here. And Dynamite Danny Axel's right. That was karma. That was instant karma for Corey Sinclair. We didn't even know he was going to be in the building here tonight. But he certainly had hell to pay for him back at Ignition.
Real easy to talk big when you spend your days off the road living vicariously through somebody else. It says a whole hell of a lot that Ignition has come and gone. And you care more about me than your own protégés. Why is that? It's because you're a leech, Dan. You've been one your entire career. You coasted off the success of your peers when you had a career. Does anybody even remember when you were a world champion? Did anybody even care? Anyways, let's talk about something I do care about. Let's talk about how badly I kicked your ass for 2 weeks in a row. I've been the talk of the town for months at this point, which means a certain somebody is gonna come knocking along. Who else but Dynamite Danny Axel? When are you gonna accept that this business you claim to care so much about has moved on from you? Do you want me to go for a hat trick on your ass? Think of the fire you're playing with because this time, I will burn you out.
Dynamite Danny Axel.
You can talk all the smack about me as much as you want, Corey. That's never bothered me, and it won't undo all the accolades I once achieved. You see, I took a gamble. That's what this business is all about.
Gamble.
And I hit the jackpot. You came here looking to finish the job like the sore loser that Pando made out of you. There's no ending here tonight, Corey. I was counting on you to be here in fact, because this is the start of something beautiful. I'm 100% cleared. I'm here to rise out of the ashes like a phoenix. And you lit a fire under my ass that you won't be able to put out.
Did I just hear that right? Oh my God! Dynamite Danny Axel! He's 100% cleared! He's coming out of retirement! And he's looking to take the fight to Corey just as strongly as he did 1 week ago! Get his ass, Dynamite! And he drilled him with a pile driver! Who's your daddy, Sinclair? So much pent-up frustration from Dynamite Danny Axel. All the weeks that Corey Sinclair sat by and made a mockery out of the people that he brought into this business. And what an emphatic statement! Dynamite Danny Axel just laid down a trap for Corey Sinclair, and Corey's just taking the plunge. He's been away from the ring for quite some time. We knew that ring rust was playing into his fight with Corey last week. He had to be thinking about this for quite some time here. But Dynamite Danny Axel is a man reborn. He is a man resurrected. And he's looking to make Corey Sinclair regret the very day that he pissed him off. Pile driver onto the sign. And Corey takes another plunge for good measure.
Knockout.
Oh my God! What a gamble from Dynamite Danny Axel. He was counting on this man to try and finish the job. He was counting on him trying to make an embarrassment out of Danny Axel from the whole wrestling world once again. And then came the bombshell. Dynamite Danny Axel is 100% cleared, folks. He is out of retirement. And Dynamite Danny Axel has officially entered the fight pit. My God! What does the future hold ahead for KPW now that this man is back on board? We're gonna have to find out in 1 week's time for yet another edition of KPW War Zone. That is all the time that we have here tonight, folks. I've been Tapey Styles, the only man that can call the action right down the middle, flying solo as always. And welcome back, Dynamite Danny Axel.